Good morning, welcome. I don't know what the camera is going to look like on your side, my face, but at the moment because it's not working correctly. Yeah, just outside Hermanus on our way to Gansbaai, and then from Gansbaai to a place called Bredasdorp. Yeah, and like I said, just outside Hermanus. I was going to record all the way down here. I don't see the point in doing so. So I left the DC at 3:30, got to Gansbaai at 5:10. Claymont 5:10. Started offloading there at just before 6 o'clock. Yeah, bright sunshine. And then from 6 left Claymont at 6:30, and it is now 20 to 8. Just on the outskirts of Hermanus, coming to basically the other side of Hermanus on the nice scenic route. I'm not sure what this place is called. I'll write it down at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, it's just before Stanford. It's a couple of kilometers outside Stanford, about 10 k's outside Stanford, and then it's Gansbaai. And then from Gansbaai to Bredasdorp. I haven't been to Bredasdorp in a long time. Very long time, so that's going to be quite interesting. And then from Bredasdorp back through a place called Napier, and then Roodval to Caledon to get back onto N2 and back to Cape Town. So yeah, going to be quite a drive today, and we've got the sun that's shining this side, so maybe this was not such a good idea currently. Maybe we'll get bits and pieces of the place. Stanford 17, Gansbaai 37. So I should be in Gansbaai at about 8:30, at least. Okay, yeah, the road between Stanford and Gansbaai, last time I travelled that road, they were busy with roadworks. And that was also a long time ago. It's been a while since I've last been this way. So I'm quite curious to see if the road is completed and what it looks like at the moment, Yeah. And from Bredasdorp, it should be about a 4.5-hour drive back to Cape Town. So it's going to be quite a nice long couple of hours today. Anyway, enjoy what's to be seen. Thanks for watching. Till later. Okay, so yeah, I had to receive a phone call there from the DC. So I couldn't chat to you when I was in Stanford. So yeah, we've just passed Stanford now, climbing up this hill on our way to Gansbaai. And this is almost the road where they had all the roadworks on. So far it looks pretty nice, eh? So far it looks pretty nice. This is obviously the section now. I only had single lane both ways. It's double lane this side, which was pretty cool because you got the hill and trucks climbing up this hill. Like me, for example, I'm only doing 40 kilometers now because it's quite a climb. And it's not as if I'm not climbing. I've got my foot down. So yeah. But that was Stanford. And now we're nearly by Gansbaai. Some nice views. It's actually a nice road, this. Out in nature, basically. Gansbaai to go to Bredasdorp. That's also going to be a nice drive. And then obviously from Bredasdorp through Napier and Rhodocliff to Caledon. I don't think my memory card is going to last any longer after that. So I think by that time it's going to be a finito, full. So I don't think I'll be able to record or show anything after that. But yeah, till later, enjoy. Catch you on the flip side. Thanks for watching.
ambulance and Moorkamp residents squeezed their back-to-the-edge tourist buses.
have arrived. We're here to go, well, we're driving past the Kelders now, but I guarantee you the Kelders is past part and parcel of Gansbaai. But yeah, into Gansbaai, and now from here it's to Bredasdorp on a beautiful road that I haven't travelled. I've travelled once, I think, but I can't even remember. At least today I've got the opportunity to record that particular road. I think it's R43 to R316, because this is R43 we're currently travelling on, and it goes through Gansbaai and goes through to Bredasdorp, and I'm not sure where else. So. But yeah, and from Bredasdorp it's back to Cape Town, which is about a 4.5 hour drive. That's, like I said, through Napier, Road, Paarl and Caledon. But yeah, time is now 20 past 8. So I did say I'll get to my destination at 8, which was probably 10 minutes from here anyway, so good timing. Enjoy. So up ahead I'll turn right to get to my destination. Not at the stop street, the next stop street. And then to my next destination after this, Bredasdorp. It's straight down this road, so I'd come back out that intersection that I turned down. I'll henceforth come back out there and turn right to carry on down this road. So yeah, this is gonna be R43 through Gansbaai to Bredasdorp, and then yeah, on the right turn.
Winners, no enter stop.
This Eyewitness News traffic report is brought to you by KFM 94.5. In your traffic in the CBD, there's a crash at the intersection of Greece Street and Baden Signal. In Bishop Lavis, there's a crash on 35th Street and Lavis Drive. The right turning lane into Lavis Drive is still closed.
Yeah, make sure you stop dead. Always traffic cops here.
In the right lane and Section Street into outgoing, an accident after the R300, and the vehicles are on the side of the road.
80 kilometers, yeah, from Claremont. It is now what, like I said, 8:30. It is actually 20:08. I'm riding it quite easily, eh? So that would be 110 minutes. Okay, let's go.